So g'day guys, welcome back to Chilltime with Joseph. We're going to get to the gaming reviews now. We're going to have Assassin's Creed week, given that Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that cinematic dropped in last week. So I thought this week I'll review the rest of the Assassin's Creed and get the giveaway going for those games as well. So the giveaways I'm going to do for those games will be basically all these games, except, go bundle a few of the games as well, to make sure that basically everyone gets, at least a similar value worth of games. Like, for example, Puzzle Week wasn't that successful, I'm going to say, is because of the fact that a lot of those games are very, very cheap. That I put up there, I think it's only worth about $90 worth of giveaways for a week. And this week I'm going to put it back up to normal, which was, I think it was, I only spent $149 last time, which was like Far Cry 5. So let's just go with the first one. And we've got the first game we're going to view is, well, we'll see. Anyways, guys, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back to Chill Time with Joseph. We've got the gaming section. We're going to do Assassin's Creed week this week because Assassin's Creed, well, has been the talk of the town at the moment, given that the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be released. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be giving away copies of that as well. Hopefully I can give away a few copies to everyone who is interested. And, closer to the date, of course, I'll have, a few money ready to give to a few lucky viewers. But next up, first up, foremost, is we're going to go and review Assassin's Creed 3. So Assassin's Creed 3 is not ultimately known as, but it was comically known as by a few people the end of the Assassin's Creed series. Now, when you play through to Assassin's Creed 3, you can understand why they make that context and reference, and basically it's a direct sequel to Revelation. So basically Assassin's Creed 3 is basically introducing a new character, introducing two new characters. Actually, it's the protagonists, and it's set in the American Revolution. Now, they do capture key moments of the American Revolution perfectly, and they do highlight a lot of American politicians that were so important in it, such as George Washington, his older brother, who dies from a disease, but, you get to play that scene, and it's killing him. I think... No, that's not... Sorry, that's the wrong game. That is before this game, actually. Basically, you're playing as Connor, an American Indian, basically. And essentially, it's the last, or not the last chapter, sorry. It features Desmond Miles once again, which is one of the main protagonists for the Assassin's Creed series. And basically, it's basically an Indian who basically becomes an assassin with the help of a former assassin squad that was basically decimated by the Templars in a previous era. And basically, basically history is during the American Revolution. And, Connor, he finds his way into it effectively. And essentially, Connor being an assassin, he completes his quest. And all I'm going to say overall, the story is pretty good. Like, the story is fairly decent. I got really hooked to all the American Revolution stuff, especially the Midnight Run by Mr. I think it's Brevere. I forget his first name. But he gets caught, and they highlight him being caught and highlight the fact that he was caught and locked up. You get to meet a few of the governors as well, the Boston governor or New England governor as well. And you get to do the tea revolution as well, the tea party, the Boston Tea Party, where you dump the tea into the water, obviously. And there's a lot of aspects to this game. There's a lot of historical references, even the shot heard around the world. You also witness that as well. And there's also another aspect where, you get the serene feeling that you can play in the wild and hunt down animals, which is an awesome aspect of this game. Is that it also goes from, a bustling and jostling city to, a great serene forest. Also as well, you can climb on trees for the first time as well and jump on trees and swing around trees as well, which is the first time for this game. And not to mention, there's ship-to-ship combat. But in this game, the ship-to-ship combat's pretty crap, okay? Like, you can complete the entire game without doing the naval battles, but overall, the naval battles are really, really hard to control, and they were ultimately frustrating. Even in a tutorial mission, they were really, really frustrating, and that's one of the downfalls of this game. The fighting animations of Connor are really, really, really good, and, like, he's got these tomahawks as well, which is just exceptionally fun to watch. And the Revolution, I've got to say, they really captured the Revolution as well. And they really captured Benjamin Franklin and who else? Thomas Jefferson as well. Even though you meet Thomas Jefferson in a DLC, they capture their characters extremely well. Now, this, basically, I'll be probably putting AC3 Remastered instead of the full edition. I'm not sure if AC3 Remastered has all the DLC. which is, the tyranny of George Washington and stuff like that. But this will be part of another giveaway, which gives AC3 remastered for free, and we'll wait till then. But overall, Assassin's Creed 3, I do agree that on a lot of points, Assassin's Creed 3 does fall short. With Connor's character, comparing Connor's character to Ezio, Connor's a more serious and, I don't know, silent protagonist, and more emotional considering he's young and he did lose his mother early on. And his father being another character you can play as well, being Haytham, and you'll find out surely, what Haytham is. And essentially, it's kind of a crazy game. This game is pretty much a crazy, crazy game, and it's pretty fun to play, but overall there's a lot of things that make it fall short. Connor's character just isn't that strong. A lot of other characters in the game really take after Connor's character and really shine through. And, I gotta say, Haytham, for example, is a character that really, really has a great, flex to him, and and essentially you don't play him for that long, and he's much more cooler than Connor, basically. And, it feels pretty bad for Connor at times. It also highlights what's going through the cities at the time. They highlight that New York's just been through a massive fire, and that the smallpox blankets that were spread to the Indians to basically kill off the Indians, essentially, was also shown as well. So from a historical standpoint, basically they capture it brilliantly. It's just the characters aren't strong enough to carry the story, unfortunately. That's what I'm going to say. It's more of his history carrying the story more than the characters. Next up, we're going to go to Black Flag. And Black Flag's basically the heyday of the pirates. So you get to meet Blackbeard and a few others as well, and how Blackbeard, they make a story on how Blackbeard became Blackbeard. You get to meet all of the pirates and who they were, and that one of the, a few of the pirates are actually women, not men. And you get to go through, a person who, it's not like a typical assassin storyline where the person's already an assassin and that's it. It basically Edward Kenway, I believe is his name. Edward Kenway is is a Welsh pirate. He starts off being a as you can see there, basically you can see where Haytham is, but anyway. So Kenway becomes Kenway is a pirate, and he's not becoming an assassin until very late in the game. And he's one of these people trying to deny being an assassin, and in fact, he gets his friends killed for what he's trying to do. Benji, man, you're not funny. That's all I'm saying, man. You're not funny. But essentially what happens in this game as well is taking the heyday of the pirates in the Bahamas and stuff like that, and essentially the ship-to-ship combat is greatly improved, massively improved in this game. Ship-to-ship combat's a lot easier. They also change, your weapons you can use as well. It's not just, just the cannons. There's forward cannons, flamethrowers and stuff like that as well. And there's also more missions than just ship-to-ship battles. There's also whales and stuff like that. There's also kind of a leveling system with your ship as well, and what ships you can take on and what resources you can obtain to upgrade your ship, and even to upgrade, weapons as well. And, that's the fun part of Black Flag, is that the ship-to-ship combat is amazing. There's also treasure hunts as well, and there's a lot of, basically you find a lot about the pirates in their heyday, and you can piece some parts together as well. Particularly one reason is being Blackbeard, on how Blackbeard became Blackbeard, and how his name became Edward Teach, even though it wasn't his name. It was actually, in the game it says it was his fake name to fool the British, that he was called Edward Teach when he wasn't. And overall, by the end of the game, you get basically, eventually, some things happen, and basically that's pretty much it. I dare you to let me teach you how to play DH. What do you... Dude. I don't know, my dude. So pretty much Black Flag was very, very popular. Incredibly, incredibly popular. Main reason why it was popular is because of the fact of ship-to-ship combat and the piracy stuff as well, okay? Very, very popular because of these specific things, okay? It's because of the pirates and the ship-to-ship combat. They also had this fortress system as well, where you could take down fortresses, where you can just basically conquer a certain area. And basically, when you conquer a certain area, you can get the bounty of it as well. And that system was relatively fun, and it introduced a lot of new mechanics as well, like storms and waves, and making sure your ship didn't get damaged by waves by making sure you're just basically floating with the tide, essentially. And it was actually quite a fun game to play. There was actually one frustrating bit on Black Flag, was one of the fortresses had like tornadoes and storms that were just super fucking annoying to dodge. And basically you're trying to dodge a battleship which is seemingly unaffected by these storms. And funnily enough, I only beat them because basically they died to the storms because the storm struck them and they had fire and I essentially killed them from there. And basically a lot of praise reviews. However, I'm going to say the modern day story, like the outside story, you know how there's the inside story in Assassin's Creed and the outside story? The outside story is utter shit in Black Flag. And really, like, they put all of their chips into the inside story for Black Flag, but the outside story is utter shit, utter garbage. It's like, you know, it has cameos from a few characters, you know, that are known within the Assassins, but that's pretty much it. Like, it's not real any underground story with Desmond and everyone else like that, and the Assassins, how he's linked to these guys, is just pretty poor on the outside. And you only see glimpses and flashes of the players you used to know. You get introduced to a bunch of characters that basically mean nothing and do nothing. But the inside story for Assassin's Creed Black Flag is amazing, and definitely I would recommend to buy it as well. Like, the inside of the storyline is good. When you get outside, though, it's pretty shit. And I reckon with the outside storyline, just skip it as quickly as possible and just go back into the game. Because basically, Black Flag is a much better game inside the game than playing outside of it. That's all we're going to say about that one. Next up, we're going to go to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, well, you never get to go outside the game. Basically, they abandoned the concept of going outside. And essentially, they're basically saying, oh, you're an assassin, dude. You're going to play this game for us. And that's what you're going to do, and that's it. Like, you know, they do that kind of thing. And there's no outside in this game. Basically, you're playing as twin assassins. So this is the first Assassin's Creed where you play two different characters. So you can play Jacob, and you can play, oh shit, I forget the other chick's name. Evie, that's right, Jacob and Evie. And Jacob, you get the Ezio form as well. And they both have the different tips and tricks as well. Basically, Jacob being more of a physical encounter fighter, while Evie's more of a stealth type, where you can basically turn invisible as well. It's also the first Assassin's Creed game that had a lot of things where you could boost your character's levels and stuff like that if you wanted to. But overall, like, it's a first game with a leveling system, effectively. But overall, you can get all your levels from doing side quests and doing other quests as well, and doing the main missions as well. And that's essentially where I got all my levels from, was doing missions. And it was a very, very fun game, playing in old Industrial Revolution England. There was no big issues that I didn't like about that game. Like, they had also an Indian assassin as well. Like, an Indian assassin was pretty good. And he had a typical normal name, because the Indians in the English back these days, but basically the Indians weren't treated very well. And the Fry twins, I gotta say they're pretty decent. A lot of people didn't like them, which I was a bit odd about. But the antagonist was so weird, you know, the antagonist was really, really weird, and he just seems to be this guy who's just basically conquering everything, and eventually, you know, of course, with most Assassin's Creed games, he's offed or, you know, disposed of. The one part I liked about the Assassin's Creed games is that they do fast forward in time, and it's also, one of the plot points is really explained here, which is the main person that is a part of the Assassin's Creed free ending when you play it, and basically they're caught being a complete menace, and they basically they try to convince the assassins on what they're doing is incorrect. So they're trying to show, I think it was Jacob in the end, or if you know, it's either Evie or Jacob, with their daughter participating in World War One with Winston Churchill. So you get to meet him as well. You get to meet a lot of figures as well. In fact, you get to play a few side quests that are reminiscent of Sherlock Holmes and some other tales as well, like the Hypnotist as well, where the Hypnotist, basically, if you get caught, he hypnotizes you and you appear out in the grass. And you do some Sherlock Holmes. You also meet Karl Marx, funnily enough, as well, because Karl Marx was back in those times, and Charles Darwin as well. And I gotta say, Charles Darwin's missions are quite hilarious, because the poor guy is like literally trying to take on the world. Like, he's trying to take on people who are trying to openly kill him, and you have to protect him to make sure he doesn't die. Like, he's trying, like, he's basically, it's in the scientific stage where they're denying evolution, and he's trying to say evolution exists, and people like hiring people to kill him. And it's pretty humorous to, you know, what you have to try to do to save Charles Darwin at this stage. And there's a lot of, you know, English, you know, typical English characters down in here as well. I'm trying to think of the author's name who's in here. I forget the author's name. Charles Dickens is also in there as well. And also Queen Victoria as well. So a lot of historical figures that you can do quests for and stuff like that. And a lot of, like, English folktale games, you know, the folktales of the English, like Charles Dickens, for example. A lot of these stories are in this game, and they're, you know, highlighted through it, through the side missions and what you do. And overall, the outside world story is essentially not really that great. Once again, it's like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's really, really poor. It's only told in snippets. It's not actually told in, like, you go outside and actually do it. And that's what lets the Assassin's Creed franchise down, is the outside story after 3 just went fucking downhill into a fucking pit. And it's been pretty, pretty poor. Overall, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I'd probably give that a great game to play. Like, the leveling system was a good turn of events for Assassin's Creed. Like, I felt that worked. The pay-to-win stuff was a bit unnecessary, but you did not need it. Like, if you were good enough, you did not need it. And also, you didn't need, like, you know, you could still play the normal Assassin's Creed mindset. At the same time with Syndicate, they did get rid of the immediate counter kill, and you could only use the Hidden Blade as a finisher move rather than as a starter move. You can obviously sneak up and kill them instantly, of course. And also, you got to play GTA on the wagons as well, and that was relatively fun, playing GTA on the wagons, where you can do like these sharp turns on the wagons, and you just basically do a great turn and stuff like that. Also, you get to cross the River Thames in its heyday, and you can like jump across ships as well. And it was actually a very, very fun sandbox game. And also as well, you had to control this train that basically went around London, which actually put a new aspect of your train that you can basically jump into any territory effectively, if you're higher def level, of course. And, you know, I definitely enjoyed the game. And also, you know, you can do a lot of repeatable missions that evolve certain things as well. And also there's missions that pop up all over the place. Now, next up but not least is Assassin's Creed Unity. So Unity, if you guys don't know, was free on, because of course, because of the Notre Dame, you know, being on fire. And you can see the Notre Dame in Unity. Unity set during the French Revolution and brings a new outlight to the French Revolution being planned. Apparently being planned to get rid of the king at the time. Everyone knows that the king is dead, of course, in whatever. So essentially, it's during the French Revolution. You're taking control of Arno, and Arno is involved in the previous game of Rogue, and you get to see that at Rogue's end on how Arno is involved in the French game of Unity. And basically, Arno is basically the game overall. You meet a lot of characters. You meet Napoleon. You meet the Makar de Sade. I'm trying to think of the other places where you meet the person who invented the guillotine as well. You don't get to meet Louis, unfortunately. Louis is a side character. You only get to meet him a few times. You get to actually do something quite fun called murder mysteries, where you solve crimes for the local cops, which is actually quite interesting. You also get to see the Eiffel Tower as well, because you're playing in Paris at certain points. And basically what happens is that at certain points of the game, you're flash forwarded into a different scene. You get to go to occupied Paris in 1943 to try and escape from it. And there's a lot of things like that where you fast forwarded or rewound back in the past or back in the future. And one of them where you had to jump on a blimp to escape, essentially, which is pretty awesome fun. Overall, Unity is the first game where they just basically removed counter killing, and they also put some online play in as well, where you can have 4 players do a mission together. And they had all these waypoints where you could enter up and team up with 4 players. Its visuals was amazing. The gameplay was really good as well, because a lot of Assassin's Creed people, they used to cheese it hard. Like in Assassin's Creed 2, you could kill like, 10 to 15 guards by counter killing, by triggering your immediate counter kill. And I even abused this as well, where I versed like 10 guards in Assassin's Creed 1, and I would counter kill each single one, because if you get a counter, it's an instant kill basically. And they removed that because it was just absurd in the early Assassin's Creed, especially with Connor as well, where counters could just result in instant death for everyone, and they could not counter it. And, that's basically, Assassin's Creed Unity, what they did. You get to see the Notre Dame. You get to do a lot of missions in the Notre Dame, actually. And you also get to jump, do the Assassin's Creed dive into the Notre Dame as well, which I find pretty epic and pretty fun as well. Now, trying to think what else. The outside game is non-existent, like completely non-existent. It's pretty meh. Like the outside world story doesn't even affect the real story. Like it's pretty shit in that regards, where the outside story is now just not even part of it anymore. There's no outside story, it's just the inside story. The inside story is really epic. It really captures the French culture, the epic romance, the passion and stuff like that. And the craziness of it as well. The end is also amazing as well, because a unexpected thing happens in the Assassin's Creed series with Arno, and then Arno realizes what the Assassin's Creed of, basically, I forget what it is. I forget the tenets and the and I think it's nothing is nothing is fuck, I forget the quote. It says, you know, everything is permitted. I know the last part's everything is permitted. Nothing is absolute, everything is permitted. Something like that. And it really highlights that phrase of, you know, what it actually means, okay? Other than, you know, anything's allowed pretty much. But it really highlights what that means to both the Assassins and to the Templar. And it really explains that in this game. So basically, Unity was followed by Syndicate. And Syndicate being one of those games that also kept the counters don't really kill. So next up's going to be the prequel to this game, Assassin's Creed Rogue. That takes place before Assassin's Creed 3. So it takes part in the 17-year war, I believe. I'm trying to think of where it is. It's 7 years war, sorry. And basically, you're basically an Irish assassin. Early on in the game, you get betrayed and become a Templar. And it's the first game where you're from a Templar point of view. And it really highlights how Assassin's Creed 3 came to start. And it also goes into how Unity also starts with the ending, and also with obviously the ending as well. It also ties up a few loose ends on what happened to Edward Kenway after Black Flag, and what happens to his captain Adewale after Black Flag as well. So basically, it's really a point that you know, this Assassin's Creed is really fun. You get to go to Canada, you actually go to the Arctic as well. And also you get to see New York before the fire. So in Assassin's Creed 3, New York's halfly burnt down because of the New York fire. But this time you get to see New York at its fullest. You also get to meet Benjamin Franklin and a lot of other people as well during this timeline, including a certain Captain James Cook who discovered Australia and settled in Australia, to meet him as well. And of course, basically, he leaves before the last mission, of course, to go and discover Australia. Because it's during that time period when Australia is discovered in the 1800s, and when he goes down there from the Queen. Basically, gameplay is Rogue's very similar to Black Flag as well. Very similar. It's got more, you know, boat orientation and stuff like that. The boat battles are just as good as well. They also highlight if you jump into the water when it's ice freezing that you get hurt for damage. It's not like, you know, the Bahamas where it's all warm. And, yeah, you know, pretty much what he does, Connor, is he hunts down his old assassins. Basically what happens at the start of the game, you go to Portugal, and like basically Shay realizes what the assassins are doing is kind of crazy, and he's trying to put a stop to it as a Templar. And basically, yeah, there's an outside story to this game as well, and there's also a link up to Unity, and that's how Unity starts effectively. And this is where how the outside story, they try to link it up in the game, and that's pretty much it. What is necessary to cast ESA advanced matches? Absolutely nothing. You just need to be able to see IPs, and that's it. In ESA, and that's it. That's all you need to see. There's no partnership or anything like that for it. Anyways, last but not least, we're going to go to Odyssey. So Odyssey being the newest Assassin's Creed game before Valhalla. The IP you get from ESA's website. Like, there's nothing you actually have to have. It's just you have to have a game. You should be able to stream, and that's it. And you just need a good mic. Last on the thing as well is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And Odyssey, well, it follows Origin's playstyle. And Origin's playstyle is more of an RPG type of game than a storyline-driven game. And I'm going to say with Odyssey, it's a very fun starting game. You know, with all the Greek gods being shown. And fucking Marcos, oh my god, the amount of times that guy drove me insane. It's a very sad game because it highlights Greeks' battle with the plague. And it's a very good storyline twist game when you get to the end game and you find out who the person's pulling the strings behind the scene was the entire time. Which is insanity. Like, your brain just explodes on how much you've been betrayed, basically. And then also as well, there's a storyline as well as like multiple storylines trying to reveal who basically your character is. You can play as Cassandra, you can play as Alexios, which is the one of the Greek guys. And either way, you know, the stories are pretty much the same, with the other one being Demos. And basically they're the ultimate, you know, thing. At the end of the day, you have to try and convince them to go to your side, even though they kick the fuck out of you, basically. Now this Assassin's Creed has multiple different DLCs, and I'm gonna say, like, you know, the DLCs are quite good, but the main reason why I got bored and didn't finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey is that your character became way too overpowered. Like, when I got to like max level with a hunter and I got the legendary set from the Artemis questline, it was just ridiculous where all I was doing was just basically shooting through walls, doing like teleport charges and stuff like that. And none of the things seemed to be a challenge at all. And it got to the point where I was just ultimately just going into areas, sneaking in, killing two, killing three, like, one or two shots. The bosses would die in a few arrows. Like, I would kite the bosses to no end and, make arrows on the fly and switch arrows when I need to. And it just, it's honestly comes to that point with most RPGs is when you are too OP, like you are too overpowered and you're able to just beat everything down with ease. And it's not exciting at all. Like, it's not exciting when that happens. And with Odyssey, like, the storyline is really fun. The ship battling is really, really fun as well. You can do so many different things other than just ship battling. Ship battling, you can do the spear as well. You can build up your spear. You can also do arena. There's also an arena questline as well. The Minotaur questline, you guys should do 100%. It's absolutely hilarious, the Minotaur questline. And also, you get introduced to all the mythology of the ancient Greeks. You get to fight the Minotaur, you get to fight the Cyclops, and so many other things like that. And also, the outside story with Layla is actually quite interesting. You do get to play the outside story quite a bit with Layla, and it's actually a lot better than, the previous games of Black Flag, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, of course, Syndicate and Rogue, where the outside story was absolute garbage. The outside story wasn't even there. But with this game, the outside story was quite good, and you do get introduced to a lot of new assassins as well, and a lot of new people as well. And also, you get linked up with the previous Templars that were introduced in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now, overall, I'm gonna say, Odyssey was very, very fun, like with Icarus and stuff like that. The big complaint it was basically a copy of Origins, which I do agree with. It was like literally Origins, but with less levels. And you could really spec into, a Spartan overall, a Hunter, or a Stealth type. And a lot of people did the Spartan kick, because you can kick people into a pit, and also just follow Leonidas. You do get to meet Leonidas as well, and that's pretty much it. It got a bit boring after a while, but the characters in the game really carry it. Like Leonidas, you get to meet some of the demigods as well. The DLC for the Hidden Blade is very, very well done, despite the fact people were, reading at it that he had to have a kid, and basically, essentially with the DLC, there's a kid involved, and basically explains how Origins came to be, like how the protagonist met Origins, and really Odyssey really links up to a lot of these parts on what has occurred, and basically what happens. In the end, basically a big plot thing happens with basically there's a lot of things that are tied up, a lot of craziness out there, stuff that come out of left field, and you just have to deal with it. And it's just an epic ride up and down in the storyline of Odyssey. The gameplay wise, it's fun. Then you get overpowered, and then it's just am I sure do I want to keep playing this? At one point in my character, I could shoot through walls with an ability. I could jump and not die to full damage. I basically could knock down people, and basically, if I headshotted them, I one-shotted them. And I got to a point where I was way too overpowered for the game. And there was a lot of great quests as well that really challenge your difficulty. There's this one where you had to kill the Spore, and the Spore kept kicking my ass over and over again. I kept having to roll, dodge when it charged and stuff like that. And it was an incredibly fun game. And there's a lot of abilities as well that can make you overpowered by making you immortal and do more damage. And there's another ability to regenerate your health as well. And I'm going to say, Odyssey is a very, very fun game. You can play pretty much any spec. And, that's the main reason why it's fun. You can pick any spec and you'll be great at it. Now, with the giveaways, guys. So the giveaways, as I've taken 30 minutes here. And the giveaways at the moment, guys, I'll be giving away a copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey on the Gold Edition. So basically Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this DLC, plus Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. And I'll also be giving away Assassin's Creed Unity and Rogue together as well. And I may put Syndicate on it as well, but I'm not terribly too sure. Maybe Syndicate with Black Flag, I'm not terribly too sure. But I'll see, how much all of it costs. And I'll basically bundle those up together as a giveaway. So basically, that's pretty much what it is. G'day, Swede. What's going on? Well, pretty much wrapping up my game reviews today by announcing the giveaway. So one of the giveaways will be Assassin's Creed Odyssey Gold Edition, which will come with Assassin's Creed 3. Then I'll probably bundle up Rogue and Unity together. And I'll bundle up Black Flag and Syndicate together as well as giveaways. and put them in separate giveaways, given how the price is, and I'll make sure that everyone gets their prize at the end of the day. I still got the prizes to go for Braid and a Witness, and obviously the Portal 1 and Portal 2 games. Those competitions are still going on at the moment. Okay, I'll link my Steam so you can send them to me. Well, you got to win the giveaway first, okay? You got to win the giveaway first, and there's 3 different ones as well. And, we'll see how that goes. Anyways, guys, that's it for Chill Time for today. Make sure you guys enter the giveaways. I'll put them up tomorrow and, see who wins then pretty much. And basically, guys, the giveaway will be for next Saturday, and that's pretty much what it's going to be for. I'm going to be back in a few minutes playing some WoW Mythic Pluses. And if you guys want to subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to below. And if you guys want to just join my Twitch and watch me live, you can watch me live on the Twitch below as well. So that's pretty much it. Anyways, guys, hope you guys have a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you guys, well, have a wonderful day. See you guys later.